Hello all. In this particular video, we will try to see a very particular interesting thing in C++. So we will try to see or understand in this particular video how the compiler sees our member functions defined in a particular class. Therefore, we know the member functions are the functions, special functions which are defined inside the particular class. For example, there is a class called project and we have two member functions defined in this particular class. Therefore, it is pretty very important to understand when we compile this particular file or CPP file, how the compiler translates this particular member functions and how the compiler reads it. That part we will be trying to understand in this particular video. For when we compile this particular project, uh, what we get or how this particular member functions get translated into, let's try to see that. So what this particular show function defined in this particular project gets translated as follows. If I just try to write how this particular function gets translated to, and this show function will take one pointer project myptr, and this is how this particular member function defined this particular project gets translated to when we compile this particular project. And as you can see, this particular the default first argument will be the this pointer for a particular this pointer, which actually refers to that object which is called in this particular member function. Therefore, I can't use this keyword here since this is a reserved keyword. I can't use that thing there, so that's why I use this myptr here. And we can just copy this line as it is. And the next member function will be translated as void show my project star myptr, and we can copy this particular line as it is, and myptr will be used here to access the member variable. Since this is a private member variable, we have to actually have that access uh, privilege to access this particular member variable. For simplicity purpose, we'll just assume it as public. This also will be translated into this particular namespace, project namespace. Therefore, in the actual compile time, we will be able to access the m underscore name even if it is private. So it will be translated, it will be defined inside this particular project namespace. So this is how the member functions get translated to when we compile this particular class. Therefore, the reason why we are able to, therefore, when we call this particular function, whatever function we have translated to, whenever we try to call this function, how this particular call will get translated to. When we try to call something like this, it will be translated to show my project function. It's a public function which is defined outside, and we'll pass the this pointer here. So this is how this function call will get translated. So this is how a function call will get translated when we try to call a member function here. So this particular call needs to be understood in the context of null reference exception. Therefore, that is the reason. This is this is the main point to understand here is when we got this idea, when we understood this particular concept, it is pretty easy for us to understand when a particular null reference exception comes in and when a particular null reference exception doesn't throw. So that particular part I have made a separate video on that. You can actually, I will just link that particular video somewhere here in this particular links, and you can go through that video to understand when a particular null reference exception comes and when it doesn't occur. Therefore, that particular video is an extension to this particular video. So do share your thoughts in the comment section and do share with your friends and subscribe this particular channel. See you in the next video. Thanks for joining in.